see all the Fearless bands already out of the pool. Nico and Cassio taken away by Fnatic. Azir and Annie removed by KC.
These are some very peculiar bans here from Fnatic. Looks like maybe they're setting up a Ryze first pick. Would be something I'm thinking about when I see this Cassio ban.
And that would be huge for Poby. 10 games on it, 9-1.
Wow.
He loves this champion. Super confident on it. Cassio was also slightly buffed on this patch.
Ryze or Yunara? What is the ban going to be from KC? Or do you try and say, hey, we're going to let one of these slip through in the hopes that we'll be able to get ourselves? Poppy has been that other kind of go-to ban throughout this series. So do you, as KC, try and net yourself one of these power picks?
Many decisions here that have to be made. As KC, that's Caitlyn. These are some crazy bans we're seeing here. Yunara first pick instantly comes in for Fnatic.
Wow. Upset on the Yunara, very comfortable on the champ. He's been able to bring it out twice. Has yet to lose, has yet to die on this champ in the 2 games he's played it. KC now need to find a way to upset the up on the Yunara.
The thing is, though, if you go for the Rakan, I imagine the Xayah is going to be next. But it does open up for Mikyx if he wants to go for the Lulu. That has kind of been the traditional answer into the Rakan, because as he goes to the grand entrance, you get the W off. It means that he's just polymorphed in place and can't really do much. But I have to see if that's what Fnatic are thinking, because it is going to be the Ryze that's actually taken away.
And I really love the mind games in this draft. I think the Cassio ban, it's set up for a Ryze first pick for Fnatic. And then KC said, oh, you want to first pick Ryze? Then we ban your Caitlyn, so you don't have that to play into the Yunara. So we force you to first pick Yunara, and we get the Ryze ourselves. I'm not sure if it's going to pay off, because I don't think Ryze is that insanely OP as much as Yunara, and Fnatic now with Poby, Aurora are looking pretty damn strong.
Poby's so nice into this Rakan. It makes it really hard for him to get on towards that backline. Aurora as well just has so much control in the top lane. If that's where you want to put it, you can still play it in mid. We've seen that a few times, but Oscarinin, last time we saw this Aurora, or at least a recent time we saw it, 4-0-7 or something on it, absolutely popped off, had a superb performance. We'll see if he can do that again.
And I think with this Poby, there's a downside and an upside. The upside is that you have a 3-way flex here. You can have Mikyx play it, you can have Oscar play it, or you can have Razork play it. And they're all quite good Poby players. The downside is that you're playing into Xayah, Ryze as the 2 main carries of KC here, who really don't mind playing into this Poby whatsoever. So that's why, for me, I would prefer to see this Poby going into the support role, where it's less of an important pick, and then for your jungle and top, you can really have 2 champions that will make this Xayah and Ryze's life miserable.
It's just interesting, like, what's left in towards the jungle, though? Unless we're looking at something like, maybe Razork goes towards something like the Ivern, which could potentially work here. It's something that I think is worked brilliantly for him in the past, and he's able to set up incredibly well. Will enable this Yunara to really pop off too. And you could even then slot the Aurora in towards Poby if you really want to, and just kind of set yourselves up with another potential AD pick in the top lane for Oscarinin.
I mean, you're looking utility tank predominantly, right? I was thinking something like the Xayah, don't want that, right? There's no point going for Xayah. So Skarner, Sejuani, not the best into Xayah because she can just Featherstorm up out of them, but if you have enough CC to layer on her after she's used that Featherstorm, you hold the Impale, perhaps that's enough.
I think you really need to be creative here as the top side of Fnatic, because if you just go the bog standard, like Bruiser tanks on 4-5, it's really easy for the Xayah and Ryze to play the game. All the champions will be coming into them, they can just kite back with their high DPS, and it's hard for Fnatic to play, so I'd love to see something like the Ivern, something that's more creative.
I think what you could do is take the Ivern, you send the Aurora top, Tristana mid into the Ryze, and then you've got double AD carries, you've got a decent way to disengage with the Poppy in the bottom side, and a ton of shielding for where KC kind of have to play into a certain extent because they are so low range.
I like that. I also like if you just go something like the Ivern and then the Rek'Sai that Oscar did pretty well, then you have a bit more frontline for this Ivern to shield up, and it just makes it a little bit easier to play, as we'll see what... Oh, it's going to be a top lane blind pick here instead of jungle. I don't know what's happened to KC over the break, but they are not giving Canna counterpick in a single game.
There is an argument that they think the Aurora is 100% locked top. And it's like, okay, we're just going to play Aatrox into the Aurora. We know that Poby doesn't want to play that in the mid lane. We haven't seen it from him this split, so perhaps they are just so sure that Oscarinin is going to be the one bringing it out. Renata gives you a little bit of flexibility into the possible engage from KC, but KC will also just be happy to hold it back a little bit. It's not an all-in comp. It works well into the Rakan, because if he jumps forward, you just handshake him out, and you can use that hostile takeover. Will be locked in for Mikyx now.
I want to see what we get for this 5th pick here. I mean, Wow, it could be the Mel. I mean, it could be so many different things here. There's no way it's the Fiddlesticks. That would be absolutely insane. I think Mikyx just having a bit of fun hovering champs here, but it's going to be the Gwen.
Aurora mid.
It's going to be the Aurora mid, the Gwen top. Gwen is really, really good here into these low-range carries that don't have too much mobility. Gwen can ignore all of their damage with that W, and it's a great matchup into the Aatrox. And it's looking like we're going to get the Ivern before the wrong team here, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, it does work with the Aatrox just as well, right? Shields, we can heal underneath to provide that front line that you really need, and enabling that Xayah as well. So it will still be the tree, just on the opposite side of the rift.
And it's huge for Yike. Like when he was coming up through G2, we talked about his tree friends, right? It was the Lilia, it was the Ivern, and it was the Mikyx. This split, he has played 6 games and won 5 of them on this Ivern. The Mikyx was similar, 15-3 all time, if I recall correctly. Now 16-3. Comfort, comfort, comfort. Put people on things they are aware of exactly how to play it. They can play right on the edge, and it worked for them in that game. His Mikyx was a key component as to why they won at game 3.
You did say, though, they have to play on the edge, and I think that's where Fnatic can try and punish them. That edge is incredibly close to the face of Fnatic, and when you've got things like the hostile takeover, the Poby ultimates, even the Gwen who can shroud, it makes it very difficult for KC to really play up into Fnatic in a lot of these team fights. They have to be so careful with how they are setting these fights up, and if Fnatic can get off to an early lead, it may just be lights out for Karmine Corp.
And KC drafted so well around this Poppy pick. With the Ivern now locked in, I think it's such a hard Poppy game for Razork. He's one of the best Poppy players in our league, but finding champions in this game and not just getting one shot in a team fight if you go in, it's going to be really, really difficult for him as we head into game number 4.
Has not lost a game on the Poppy this year, has only played 2. 100% win rate there for Razork. Let's jump onto Summoner's Rift. It's game 4. It's do or die for KC. Their world's lives on the line. Their spot in the LEC for the rest of this year on the line. For Fnatic, you got 2 games. You are very close. You're very close to losing 2 games in a row.
Don't say it like that.
Down to, hey, like, this is Fnatic we're talking about.
This is Fnatic we're talking about, that's true.
They've been 7 years in the desert. They have been praying for mana from heaven. And yes, they make worlds every time, but the first 2 games of this series were so damn convincing.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of Fnatic faithful out there that are saying, hey, like,
we can win this
we
thing.
can win. We can beat MKOI. G2 is next up.
Yeah.
If you lose now, it
suddenly all that enthusiasm.
Yeah. And you remember the years after years after years of being so close, but not quite close enough.
And we're so close to maybe getting Poby versus Faker. And we're so close. 1 game for the Fnatic folks, but can they do it here, or can KC continue that march on the reverse sweep?
That's very true, Rob. And I also want to just take stock of the 2 drafts here, because for me, I really like a lot of what both teams have constructed. I think for the top side, in Oscar, you have this lane matchup that you can look to bully, you can look to dash forward, and Gwen can get a lead. And for the same in the bot side, with this range support into the Rakan, you can look to bully that as well. The only worry I have as the game progresses later and later on, I feel like you get into a similar situation as last game, where if KC just group up as 5, it's so hard for Fnatic to find any angle to actually go onto them, and it's so easy for KC to just run them down and steamroll the game.
Especially in a game where you can go double redemption pretty easily. Like, if you're not killing people quickly in that fight, double redemption at Dawn Core as well for the Ivern eventually is just going to make it so hard to actually kill anyone off. I don't see anyone of Fnatic that has an easy Serpent's Fang route. I don't see anyone that can get that shield cut, and when you have an Ivern there, it's going to be really tricky later on in the game. Heal used by Targamas though. Good handshake out of Mikyx to pull him back.
Yeah, great early laning by Fnatic thus far. Already getting a bit of a CS lead and damage lead in the bot lane. Kind of expected for how this matchup should play out. The thing with Ivern is that his first clear is so fast, so even though Razork would love to try to punish enemy jungler with these winning lanes, never really going to be able to do it. As you see, Ivern's already cleared all of his camps at 2:46.
Yeah, that's absurdly fast. Yike already walking in. He has 30 seconds to spare. Will be spotted on a ward. Can go back, come back out, and still be in time for the Scuttle Crab, which is not something you see from too many junglers. Poby there using that twofold Hex really effectively onto Vladi, continues to chip away at him. It's the passive of Aurora that does a huge amount of the damage, and they did nerf the max HP damage out of it, but they gave her some compensation buffs in just the AP scaling.
Yeah, especially when you compare it with the Electrocute, it just makes it so difficult to try and play into her, and you've got that nice little bit of a range advantage over Vladi too, so with Poby having that control over mid, even forcing the reset from Vladi, means that Razork should be able to control this Scuttlecrab on the bottom side, with Mikyx even coming across to help.
And I want to give some credits to Poby, because for me, the signing of him was a little bit random.
Questionable.
Like, I understood that humanoid, everything, it wasn't really working out, but I didn't think Poby was the answer. But thus far, he's had really good laning phases across the board. He was a little bit disjointed at first, but now Oscar
flashes away from the Infernal Chains. Canna's going to have to flash as well. Oscar looking to the skip and slash.
No way.
Another auto. Canna, though.
Oh my god!
Oscar, what has this man been eating?
Oscar finds the solo kill, is now Upset's in trouble.
She has to cleanse away from it. Root caller from Yike is blocked by Mikyx. Upset will expend his cleanse. They use the heal alongside it, but the Fnatic bot lane will survive the fight.
Oscarinin, no puedo creer. I don't know what he's doing right now. It's incredible. This glow up he's having in Madrid. It feels like a different player we're watching. He's so aggressive, flashes in so early as Mikyx looks for the cancel here.
Beautiful stun for Mikyx, but he does need to get out of here. Has to flash in the end. Like, you could understand it, doesn't want the enemy bot lane to reset. It was a great handshake, but banning your flash, not the best into a Rakan lane.
Yeah, definitely as you start to move on as well, and Yike can try and move in towards this bottom side. There's so much CC on this bottom half of the map. At least he does have the spell book, so maybe able to swap into something that can help him out, but I think Yike just found a new target on the map.
Yeah, overall the lead in the spot lane kind of disappeared from this gank and from this pressure that the Yike put onto Fnatic, which is a bit of a shame when you're playing this range matchup into the Rakan. You'd really like to bully out in the early game, but overall it's not the end of the world. You're still playing a very high scaling ADC in the form of Yunara, so you're still chilling.
Yeah, you'll be okay with this, as you say, like you do lose a little bit. Oh,
Oscar at 6.
Level 6 coming out, but Yike is waiting around the corner to try and help defend. It's not enough!
Oh,
he's just dead already! What is this? What is happening?
I can't believe it!
It's absurd! Like, what has he been eating? How long did he sleep? What anime is he watching? Like, anyone who is coaching Fnatic right now, write everything down you can. Because Oscar is taking this game into his own hands.
But it's against Canna. Canna has been so good for KC this entire year. And Oscar is just putting him in the dirt over and over. And may just be the focal point now for Fnatic to get that wage into KC.
And the thing is, it's not just the 2 solo kills. He has a 20 CS lead as well. Nearly a 1k gold lead at 6 minutes. This is like unheard of.
The Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role goes to Oscar, it seems, as he continues to dominate the top lane. And those are words that I thought would not be spoken today. For Fnatic, the question is, can you use this domination to continue the wins in this series? Oscarinin forcing Canna back. Yike having to spend much more time around the top lane than perhaps he expected. Razork is here. There's no vision for Canna. No flash for him either. The World Ender's world is perhaps about to collapse. You die under tower here. It is just doomed. No escape. He brings out the wings, but he needs an angel to save him. Starts to dash away. Razork still looking for the chase. Gets slow with a hammer shot. Keeps on going and snip! Snip! He slices him in half.
The lifeblood of KC has been left all over the top side of the map. Yike will get a dragon as a consolation prize. But this Gwen is about to take over the game.
With that, Fnatic might have just cut KC's chances at Worlds with this astonishing Gwen performance from Oscar, as he's now getting double the CS of Canna. He's gotten 2 plates, and yes, KC get the Drake, but it's not enough to stop the bleeding.
Oh, Caliste flashing forward. You can see KC think they need to do something. Targamas looking for it as well, but now Caliste has no flash, will have the Featherstorm in his back pocket to try and escape the clutches of Fnatic. And I think the question now is, if you're Razork, do you say, okay, Oscar, your lane is won, I can go other places, or do you just keep harassing, getting Canna into such a deep hole that no ladder can bring him out of it.
Well, with Boy Grub's up there, I think your best bet is to stick around for the moment and just try and get all three. Oscarinin didn't have to use his ultimate in that last fight, so if you even peek your nose in here as Yike, it's going to get snipped off immediately. And from Fnatic then, as you say, you just start to lean all that pressure elsewhere. Oscarinin has so much control over this top half. And now, Upset taking the fight against Caliste.
Caliste has to have the heal used there by Targamas. The chase will continue. Good play, caller back. We'll get the route onto Upset. Grub's going over to Fnatic. And you know who's very happy about that? A Gwen in the top lane who has total control over her matchup. Those plates... Oh, he's eating them for dinner, I'm going to be honest, and I don't think Ceramic tastes that good, but Oscar will be happy with the gold it gives him.
I mean, this game and this series in general just makes me so excited to see what Fnatic can both do. Like, if they win this and further into Worlds, like, the Fnatic that has players and a game plan where they can play around all three players, not just around Upset and Mikyx. It's really a roster and a potential that feels like threefold what we saw before.
And you can see KC. It's like, what can we do?
Yeah.
Call the fire brigade, call the police, call anyone you can. Realm warp in. Oscar's just going to start to walk away, so has the flash. Will burn it, dodges the root caller with the hallowed mist. And then he emotes on them.
And that was two flashes. That was Vladi and Yike, and they both flashed. And all they see is Gwen dancing on them.
And the loser of this is Caliste. Look at him on that bottom side, running for the tier 2, knowing Fnatic are going to look for the counterpunch. And it's now bleeding over from the top lane towards Upset in that bottom half of the map as his own gold lead starts to spike.
Yeah, for KC, you are finding any port in any storm right now. The CS you get is the prize you can have. As the keeper's running, welcome back. Razork doesn't need to spend time around top, so instead he will make Caliste and Targamas' day a living nightmare. This is the sort of start Fnatic want. This is what they had in Game 2. Game 1 was KC favored until around the 15-minute mark, but when Fnatic have garnered a lead like this in this series, they have not taken their hands off the necks of KC.
I'm astonished. I don't know, like, I'm speechless. I just didn't think that... I didn't think Fnatic was going to win, and even if they did win, I never imagined it like this.
It's not done yet.
It's not
That's
done yet.
all we can say. It is a massive lead, almost a full level for Oscarinin and 2,000 gold at 10 minutes. This guy has been collecting everything he can find, but there are still avenues back for KC. They do still have good team fighting. It's still hard to get on the Ryze, to get on the Xayah because of their self-defense tools.
Yeah, I think that's where you kind of have to try and use Vladi with this ultimate and again continue to overforce him aside. But the engage is there.
Charm coming out as well. Hostile takeover only going to hit onto Targamas as they're all able to dodge away. Upset transcending here. Looking for the damage back onto Caliste. In the end, it will just be an exchange of ultimates and the cleanse. Razork going back up towards the top lane. Canna has 3 minions. Yike is here though. Perhaps the 2v2 might be enough for KC, but Razork's not going to let Yike have it. Slams him into the wall. Yike should be able to defend Canna here as there's only 2 minions left. And the wave will be pushed back. Razork just keeping Yike here for now. Vladi's starting to move from mid, but doesn't have Realm Warp right now.
It's so close to being up, but even just that pressure, I think should be Fnatic needing to get out. Actually, he ends up cancelling it as Poby goes to follow. But at least KC will keep Canna alive for the moment.
Yeah, I think that mid-prow there from Vladi was crucial, because if you swap that around, if Poby can move up first, that's an easy dive for Fnatic with how much damage they have on Oscarinin. But with Vladi being able to play the safeguard a little bit, help his team out there, it at least stops that bleeding.
And that feels like it has to be the story now for KC. It has to be Vladi getting access to these side lanes, working with people to just try and stem the bleeding, try and keep KC within arm's length. And I don't think it's topside. Honestly, I think if 2 people show up there, maybe Oscarinen's time to shine. So for KC, I think it's putting resources into Caliste in this bottom side, trying to punish Upset while he doesn't have that cleanse available.
Speechless is not a place I find myself often. We are paid to talk, but the power that Oscar's had through this early game as Razork's caught just a little bit. Targamas and Yike looking for this trade. Will be a 3v3 fight. Razork already down to half HP. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Oscarinin continues to wail away on that tower. About a 2k gold lead overall for him. It has slowed down. It is harder for Oscar to take those final couple of plates, but they're about to start to fall off in a minute's time, and then the tower surely will be forfeit for this early game. Canna struggling. Canna with a Hex Drinker first into a Gwen.
And this was... They chose to blind pick him this Aatrox.
Yeah.
And
Razork goes in Caliste immediately with the cleanse. Quickness coming out as well from Targamas as he tries to get away. We're knocked up with the steadfast presence with redemption enough to heal him up. Targamas able to dance away. Still gets slowed by upset there, but will be able to escape.
But it's Dragon for Fnatic. They got the control they needed. They can still push in on bot side. And
I mean, Targamas does have TP, so they could look to TP back and contest this.
I mean, this could be good for KC. Caliste still has the Feather Storm. Upset's used that Transcend oneself. His ultimate has been invested.
Upset is stuck.
Vladi has Realm Warp, as you say. Upset unable to join the fight right now. Vladi's going to separate Poby from the rest of his team. Keeper's Verdict gets rid of Vladi. Targamas going back in, but the steadfast presence will stop him from dashing to anyone with a good handshake. Pulls him back. The hostile takeover has to be dodged with the Feather Storm out of Caliste, and Poby's still on the chase. He pulls in the twofold Hex, and it's 5-0 Fnatic.
And Fnatic just keep finding every opportunity as they punish KC, getting 2 free kills, and it just feels so dire for them. It feels so hard, so heavy.
KC just looked lost, and Fnatic are happy to show them the way towards the door.
He's dead, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, you got the okay. You got the redemption.
Redemption out. He might try and trade back into Oscarinin, who doesn't have mana. Flash forward. Vladi's coming in. Does have a flash of his own, but they're back away. They can't do anything to Oscarinin.
But KC are throwing everything in any direction they can and hoping that it sticks. But they're just not getting it. And Fnatic, they get the play on towards the bottom side. They get Oscarinin into a lead. All of the the early Void Grubs have gone. That Dragon has gone the way of Fnatic as well. Like, how do you try and fight back as KC?
It's so difficult, and this Herald is going to go the way for Fnatic as well. It really feels like you need to utilize this Ryze, get a crazy numbers advantage, get a good engage, something along the lines of that. Otherwise, it's too difficult.
And now, as you say, you get the Rift Herald to try and make plays around mid. Oscarinin gets the reset and nearly has a second item already completed at 15 minutes into the game. And as soon as he plonks himself into a side lane, that is just going to escalate even further. And late game Gwen is just such a menace, even with the nerf that came through a while ago. She just feels unstoppable.
Yeah, the thing is, normally you'd be like, oh, if enemy top has such a big lead, he will get outscaled or something, right? He played an early camp chat. No, he's playing like probably the best scaling top laner in the game. It's really dire for KC, and they need to be the magicians this game and find some magic. And they haven't shown that capability thus far in this series.
Really haven't. Canna still looking here. TP coming in by Vladi. They want this bounty. 325 extra gold on Oscarin's head. There's the Rune Prison. Needlework coming out from Oscarin as he tries to survive. Redemption as well. Used by KC. The quickness. He dodges it. He dodges it. Still gets charmed in the end. He will be shut down. Vladi's Ryze claims the prize of Oscar's life. But meanwhile, on the bot side, the Rift Herald charges in. It's a tier 2 for Oscar for Fnatic.
And there's pressure in the mid lane as well. They do need to back off, as you can see. They're trying to get the pressure on towards Fnatic themselves. Upset just trying to make sure that he can connect on towards the waves. Will be able to clear it out. But a tier 2 already for Fnatic.
But KC were able to find the magic that they needed. At least they got one side of pressure now. They had to drop the tier 2 for it, but now Mikyx looking for Yike.
Lands a handshake, pulls him back, slammed into the wall. Yike, no! Trigger Seed will save you. Upset dashing across the wall as Targamas lands the grand edge. Good double knockup coming out in the end. Targamas will be able to battle dance his way away.
And you can see the confidence on Mikyx. He has the spellbook cleanse and he's just walking forward alongside Razork. You can see they're taking every bush. They're taking all the space in K-Corp's jungle, and no place is K-Corp's own.
And we've gone from it being a 2,000 gold lead to Oscar, everywhere else relatively even, to almost 1,000 in every lane apart from support. Fnatic have translated the pressure that Oscar was able to singularly manufacture and now have put it across the entire map.
And it's because KC knew they had to try and shut him down, but by putting so much investment in towards Oscarinin, Razork got to play elsewhere. Now they, with that tier 2 down in the bottom lane, they can continue to push that wave super deep on the bottom side, lean in that pressure into the bottom jungle, and put pressure onto the mid turret. And Fnatic can look to snowball so effectively now. And with 50 seconds until this next dragon. I'm pretty sure Oscarinin has the second item completed and can just take over this fight.
Yeah, it's really hard to imagine KC taking any fight right now and being able to win it. They really need to continue trying to utilize this Ryze for split push, but you can see as soon as Fnatic start to send out some numbers, Vladi immediately needs to ulti away. And now without that Realm Warp, it's so difficult to actually try to pressure aside or give Canna any sort of relief. You really need multiple miracles, to be honest, to be able to win a game like this. And maybe they can do it.
Fnatic have already found their miracle.
Yeah.
Their miracle in Madrid, presented to them by the Catalonian Oscarinin. The Drake is up in 10 seconds time. And I think Fnatic should just be able to close this Dragon take out pretty easily. Its Hex Soul for them would be so powerful on a Yunara, on a Gwen. They'll be really happy if they can get that. But KC getting that early Dragon will delay Fnatic's plans at securing the early 4. Meanwhile, you can see Vladi, Yike, and Targamas all setting up towards that top side, trying to get any vision in they can. We talk about doing something on the opposite side of the map, finding something for yourselves. They are doing that. They got a little bit of vision in. Oscarinin clears it away.
Oh, Oscar no W here, but he's so strong and so high level that even though KC will be able to get this top tower here most likely and get that objective bounty.
And that's good for KC.
Yeah.
They got as much as they could out of that trade in my estimations, at least assuming they take the tower down, they'll get a bounty for it. They don't quite get the tower, but it does fall in the end to the minions. Need to work out from Oscarinin, look for the slow. And the gold lead shrinks to about 4K. Poby on the flank, Razork here too, and KC is 3v5, and Fnatic have come alive. 8-1 now. They once again regain that gold lead of 5K.
And KC found the tower, but they lost it all for it, as 2 members end up going down, and Fnatic do not let anyone go unpunished. If you try to take an objective from them, they will catch you.
It's such a good play from Fnatic. The collapse was already there since they pushed in mid. An upset has started to move across. And Poby getting across thanks to that Hextech gate gets the perfect cutoff point. And Fnatic just run them down. There is nothing that KC can do. It is into the meat grinder, and Fnatic are making bank off the back.
It's Razork's willingness just to flash in as well. They know that if they're all there, they just win the fight. Aatrox begun. We've seen games thrown around this as the TP comes in from Oscarinin. He will join the fight. 2 items, upgraded boots. KC, if you can steal this, perhaps it keeps you in the game as Targamas and Yike will begin to step forward. Oscarinin does the same. Realm Warp coming out just to distract Fnatic. The Rakan down to 1,000. Oscarinin caught out for the hostile takeover. Will save his life. Canna now on the wrong side of the wall. Dumped back in with the flash handshake back. He's going to heal up with that Thunder Sky. He's going to have to use the cleanse. Oscarinin able to dash away. Meanwhile, Mikyx sacrificed himself for the good of the team.
It looked a little dicey, but Fnatic, they managed to escape. They end up forcing the Aatrox, but KC finding these small moments, and Poby not already in a position gave KC at least the chance to get a pick, but Fnatic get away with the Aatrox.
A root call out from Yike. He's going to get chased down by Razork here, but the rest of KC are beginning to collapse. The red buff maybe needs to be forfeited here by Razork. Don't need to go for that root caller out from Yike. They'll steal away the red. Oscarinin escapes, has his flash back up. So even if he was caught in a precarious spot, would have been able to extricate himself.
And you really see in this fight the power of KC's comp. Oscar goes a little bit too deep, which ends up costing him dearly. And you see that if KC can kite back, their carries are still very strong with this Ryze and Xayah, with the Ivern healing and shielding the Aatrox. Barely not able to get Razork, but still, it's all of Fnatic that have to kite back and run away. And at that point, KC's comp is super good at continuing to push forward.
Yeah, just a little bit greedy all round from Fnatic. I think Oscarinin trying to make space, but you're making space into a very small gap, and hostile takeover only secures that gap for a small amount of time. As soon as that's down and it's dodged by Caliste and Vladi just walks, like, accepts that he's going to auto-attack a couple of times, then the re-engage from Fnatic's really hard to, from KC is really hard to get yourself out of.
I agree, but Fnatic got the objective, right?
Oh,
they did get Aatrox. There's now Dragon in 2 minutes time. You're starting to see, like, so many huge items completed for this Fnatic side as well. And even though KC's found their moment, I think it's kind of few and far between as Targamas, or maybe on the bottom side, might be the focus.
I think they're looking for Vladi instead. Doesn't have the flash and has no tower.
He's dead.
Safety. No. Realm Warp out. Mikyx's going to flash. Misses the handshake. Good Realm Warp out by Vladi. Gets himself out of a very sticky spot.
And I want to add on to what you said, Rob. it's very nice that Fnatic got the Atakan, but at the same time, the gold lead was all the way up at 6k and has already now halved to 3k. So it's been a great comeback for KC thus far. And if you choose, like if I have to choose, if I'm 6k down to drop an Atakan to get 3k back, I mean, I'll take that every day.
I very much agree with you. I think it's a question that began to ring in my mind a little bit with the Ambessa game, which is how good are Fnatic at playing through a fed Oscarinin. And they were pretty good in that game, like it ended up working for them, but here, like Oscarinin is the key advantage. Poby was a team, Caliste, that's a lot of damage. Weird and coming out, between worlds goes Poby, but they just don't quite have it. Trick Seed as well used on Caliste alongside the Redemption just to top him up. KC collapsing in this 4 to make sure that their AD carry stays safe.
Still getting a lot of control on this topside jungle, and that's where Oscarinin is going to be putting the pressure with the Aatrox. If they can continue to lend that pressure to the Oscarinin, well, that's your answer, right? Yep. They're able to get him access to towers to do what he needs to do. But at the moment, Fnatic are struggling to try and play from Oscarinin to mid and get this mid lane turret down.
I think it's much harder this game because you don't have the same triggers that they had in game 1, where it was really easy for them to start a fight at will. But you see here, even when Poby gets onto Caliste, there's so much healing and shielding that he has to get through, and so little CC on Fnatic's side that it's really hard for them to actually be the ones to start a fight. As they look onto Yike here,
they look at the damage onto Yike. Don't really want to step past Targamas and Caliste with Vladi collapsing. Side against it. Fnatic do have prio on that mid lane wave though, so they can try and take the tower if they want. Second dragon of the game for KC if they take this, but they are going to get slowed up by that Hex Drake. Be a little bit tricky to work around it. Oscarinin looking for the engage, kind of trying to keep them at bay. Keeper's Verdict coming out, only knocks Dato goes through.
Oh my god.
Gets a triple knockback. They just yeet it away and steal it out of KC's hand. Beautiful by Razork.
It's a home run for Razork as he knocks away so many members of KC. They don't quite get the mid tower, but he'd be happy to get a few of his mates home.
And Razork did that while it was 4v5. Upset was just silently hitting this mid tower, bringing it all the way from nearly full HP to nearly dead now. And they get the third Drake, only one away from Soul.
And the thing about that is, it pulls KC to a dragon fight. And if you say, okay, Oscar, push top, we're going to start to set up around the Drake. KC have to be there, because you cannot give away Hex Soul into Yunara, into Aurora. It's so difficult for you in those fights. And so now Fnatic have a slew of options before them. Do we just want to go for a tier 2? Do we want to go for a tier 3? Can we keep Fnatic around the fight? Will a Keeper's Verdict change how that outlook looks? Still only, well, I say only, still a 4,000 gold lead for Fnatic, but it has shrunk from the gargantuan advantage they had earlier on in this game.
Yeah, and it's important to note that as the game gets longer and longer, a gold lead kind of shrinks naturally as everybody gets more gold and the relative difference is smaller. But I want to say that I think I really agree with you. The onus now is on Fnatic. They have the potential to kind of checkmate KC if they play their lane assignments right now, if they play their pressure right. And KC kind of know it. So what they want to do is they want to fight immediately, looking for the Realm Warp.
Poby going away. Vladi couldn't quite get the Flash Room Prison. Got the spell flux off, but Aurora enough mobility in her kit to escape.
Yeah, KC needed to try and send something. Mikyx might be caught here, though.
He's definitely caught. Puts the exhaust down onto Canna, who pops the world end. The Redemption's going to heal him up a ton. The hostile takeover lands onto 2, including Caliste, and Canna has to back away because of it. All the while, Oscarinin continues to push in bots.
And that's all the Fnatic really want here, is to buy that space. KC either over-index into bot and they get the mid tower, or Oscarinin just takes the inhibitor in their faces.
And that's the checkmate that we're seeing here. KC are left with only bad options as they try to look for plays, but they can't find them. And they just keep getting pushed in on sides and keep being drowned in the pressure of Oscarinin.
And now he's 2,500 gold ahead, taking that tier 3. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, that tower likely to fall just to the minion wave. Gold extends for Fnatic above that 5k mark. Drake 2.5 minutes away. Soul point already for Fnatic would be sold for them if they can get it. The Baron, the key target now. You have to feel Mikyx trying to set up vision around it. It's a little tricky as Renata. You're nowhere near as tanky as an Alistair. You don't have the mobility of something like a Rakan, so you have to be a bit cautious when you step up on your own.
All the Fnatic want to do, though, is just buy that space for Oscarinin. It's level 16 to just barely hitting level 15 for Canna, and now there is no real safe home, and you can see Canna trying to move away from the bush that Oscarin's hiding in. Oscarinin knows if he can get that solo kill, that opens up Baron, or it opens up a Nexus turret.
You can see Oscarinin continuing to push in bot now. just Canna has to just watch him push the wave, even with Caliste hovering slightly. It's just so difficult for him.
Oscar would like a little bit more vision around that blue side if he can get it. There's a couple of wards there for him, but it's easy enough for KC to make tracks towards him without being seen. And if you can get vision on the top side, then that also alleviates that problem, because you know that KC are in their top side jungle. But at the moment, Fnatic don't have the deep vision you really need to push an inhibitor solo lane.
Especially when you've got the realm warp from Vladi as well. Like if Vladi shows up on that bottom side and then can realm warp whoever his cohort is up towards the barn again. Plus Targamas has TP, Vladi's TP, Canna has TP, so you have enough members there that can make a play and still control the rest of the map.
Interesting to see Yike going for the Medjais here instead of parts of the Dawn Core.
Wow.
I think he knows the next fight they need to win, and if they do win it, he needs the bonus stats from the Medjais to really help carry them through the rest of the game. We have a minute on the Drake Baron still available to these two teams.
I mean, buying Medjais when you're behind like this is very smart for the reason that you said, that it just allows you to have that exponential comeback gain if you're able to do so. And if they lose the fight, I mean, X-Made Soul, it's very difficult.
For KC, if they lose this next fight, I think it's just done. For Fnatic, if they lose it, they can take a step, regroup, come back in 5 minutes and play around the next Drake. If they lose that fight, then things really begin to sway in KC's favor.
Yeah, I think scaling-wise is still definitely, I favor KC quite a bit, as this Ryze and Xayah are continuing to get stronger. Ivern is continuing to do a lot more. And Gwen, while she is incredibly strong, her teammates, I think Poby and Aurora will really not have the damage to deal with this shielding and healing that Ivern is providing.
But Fnatic have bought the time they need. Oscarinin continues to pushing in. Dragon now spawned into the soul, and they're banners up, and they're gone.
Yeah, only on Targamas though. Poby still backing in the top side. Drake begun by Fnatic. Razork,
they can finish it.
With Daisy, Poby has the death cap and he's TPing into the mid lane. As you say, they can try and finish this quickly and they'll get it. Hexo now, Aurora on the flank, flash in from Razork. Hostile takeover coming out as well with Vladi. He's in the midst of the enemy team and he doesn't have a way out at all. Vladi's gonna fall. Yike follows suit. Canna next up, 6-6 from Oscarinin. And he's Oscar winning this game.
And Fnatic is better. Fnatic is star and worlds.
Somehow, some way, this Fnatic has shown up today, and KC have been stunned. The LEC have been shocked, and it has been rocked.
No defense left for KC. The Fnatic faithful rewarded. Oscar Munoz Jimenez, remember the name. Fnatic take it. They'll go to Worlds, and tomorrow they'll fight Encoy.
No puedo creer. It's unbelievable, unbelievable what we've witnessed today. What a series from Oscarinin. Oh my God.
What a series from Fnatic as a whole.
Yeah.
Patient, aggressive in the early stages. Everything felt calculated. And even when KC were trying to find some crack in the armor, there was just nothing there. This felt like a different Fnatic.
But what a tragic loss for K-Corp. After winning in winter, showing such great promise with Caliste and Vladi, not even making it to Worlds. It feels tragic for them.
It really does. You can vote for one of the Fnatic players though in your Kia Player of the Series vote. No, you can't. You can vote for Oscarinin in your Kia Player of the Series vote, guys. Like Razork and Upset played really well, but the evolution of Oscar, the level that he played today compared to what we have seen from him is just...
And he solo carried this last game.
Oh, yeah, 100%.